kid said he didn't like the Go DJ song, and I said, but you love A Milli. It's the same. It's literally the same freaking song. And he's like, what? And so I read him the lyrics. And he got all that cringe, blah blah blah. And it's like, dude. And he's like, yeah, but it sounds better with the beat. And I said, of course it does. They all hide behind these beats. These beats that are selected, that are created. Shit, for all we know, they're creating them digitally. But they're created with the mind control mind to the dumbest possible shit. Here, take this back to Gabi. Go take this. Here. Come on. Go get it. You know, we dropped a new song yesterday, and I guarantee our new song is better than any shit out there. And like, you know I can stand on my lyrics. I'm proud to have anybody listen. You know, it might not be rap, so it doesn't fit what you're expecting. And you know, if you're my kid, you're like, it's my dad. But there's not much better than this.
Sky Daddy's watching over
Wait,
you, and that's what
especially when you put the rhymes together. Nobody is putting rhymes together like I am mathematically.
Like when guys in the vocal booth, Sky Daddy's watching over you, and that's what you believe. Like when guys in the vocal booth, truth's not hard to see. Doing everything you're told to do, you prove you've been deceived. Like accepting that your cold or flu spreads through a cough or sneeze. They have you caught in a disease where you're often made to bleed. Lost and on your knees, your needs are secondary. Your resolve is all beneath the appalling small relief you get when falling for the chief. You call the leader who can carry the weight of the world and barely show their greatness in the charity where grace with no transparency is rarely ever seen.
Get down.
The racist who apparently
Tula,
make
get down.
So scary we are faced with what invariably very much
Good girl.
The hilarious, obscene dream we call reality, preparing us to scream with scenes scripted so the fallacy is seen as wicked as they callously are glad to be our bosses. Our team elicits tragedy when our fantasy gets our losses. Because you dumb like that.
What does she have, dude?
No better. I said you dumb like that. And you're as sharp as mild cheddar. You dumb like that. And you'll never should say never. Since you dumb like that. And you don't know no better. Because you dumb like that. And you don't know no better. I said you dumb like that. You're like a vegan dressed in leather. You dumb like that. And you'll never should say never. Since you is dumb like that. And you just don't know no better. Showed an obvious genocide by those who deny they cause it. Their show is known to petrify those hiding like an ostrich, homegrown on their insecticide. The lies that we're accosted by are only half the size, like guys who break their sausages. The kind that make you cautious, providing truth that hurts, but it's no surprise that you get nauseous when you either just deserts the rising discussing worth ensures increase in value like the horizon of the earth always never seems to fail to work its way out of the mailroom and Sailor Moon up to Island. We should certainly impel who rides the rails to hide the devil that the Zionist all pedal as the bed you'll have to lie in. If you try to test their metal, then your head
This song's about dumbass people like you.
be the Brian to these crying, whiny bleeders who instead of compromising are annihilating eaters. They're pride-winning deceivers, beaters of women and children. And if you put eyes on these cheaters, they'll fly their planes into your building. Because you dumb like that. And you don't know no better. I said you dumb like that. And you're as sharp as mild cheddar. You dumb like that. And you'll never should say never. Since you dumb like that. And you don't know no better. Because you dumb like that. And you don't know no better. I said you dumb like that. You're like a vegan dressed in leather. You dumb like that. And you'll never should say never. Since you is dumb like that.
I think about making similar music in other genres all the time.
144,000
You're a dumbass. You're a priest. You're a fucking pedophile priest.
No, but it's the devil's fault that you fall. Raising your Jim Caviezel while still claiming you live on a ball.
Jim Caviezel.
Laws causing depression, restraining your jaws to absorb your aggression, recalling impressions, the lessons I gave you, declawing oppression, installed you to brave you. Always is late to the ball in the great screw, all that you hate. You think you're that special, drawing a blank, installing in fate, the walls you create, you think along on the schedule. You're wrong in the bed, you'll head to for rest proves your death would be the best. Full stop, as the kids say. When you step to the vestibule, the message you're the best pull. Stress from intellectuals, your cop's just an ig.
Your cop's just an ig.
Religion don't make no sense, but it does make lots of dollars.
You have your 9-year-old watching shit. Well, I hope your 9-year-old's smart enough not to believe in Jesus. I hope his dad's not the type of piece of shit that has him believing in Jesus, has him being subservient to the friar narrative. You're a priest and you're talking shit, huh? Thank you for proving the point. It's amazing how stupid religious people are. And that they just keep proving it. They just can't help but prove it. But they can't, they believe in stupidity, so they are stupidity. It's pretty simple. But it's just, this guy's not going to actually come at me with anything that matters. He's not going to come at me with anything intellectual. He's not going to come at me with anything intelligent. It's just crybaby. Absolutely deny Christ because it's fucking stupid. And I'm not some dumbass. Your picture looks like you're a black guy, though I can't quite tell because it's small. But if you're a black person and you're a Christian, it's like you're dumber than regular Christians, regular white Christians, and that's really an accomplishment, right? It's just amazing. It's amazing why anybody would believe that shit. I still can't understand what it is. Even the whole I'm scared of dying and, that whole narrative that a lot of people hide behind. That they believe in this stuff because of what might happen when they die. Well, if that's truly your motivation, you understand you're condemning yourself to fucking hell. You're gonna go to hell. You're not going to heaven. Have you seen your life? Have you seen who you are? You're absolutely going to hell. Calling black people dumb. Yeah. Lots of black people are dumb. Yeah. Lots of them. Now, not all. If you're, the funny thing is, there's way more dumb white people than there is, anything else. But, yeah. Oh, yeah? Most of them are stupid. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole bunch of intelligence from white people. Oh. Judging others, you're going to hell. Who's going to hell? I'm not going. I've been to hell, Michigan, and that's close to it as anybody can get. Yeah. He spends 2 days. Look at how stupid you are. Because it's not like I do this all day. So I'm not sure what you think. Well, obviously, you've got a job to do. You're trying to infiltrate and, anything to take the attention away from the true focus, which is the friar narrative, the religious control, how Christians, have been made to be just these stupid, subservient, like, automatons. They're fucking stupid, man. Like, anybody that believes in God, you really are stupid. Like, you're so stupid. Like, you're as stupid as you think Muslims are who believe in Allah. How about that? Understand, that's the same thing. I saw this video on Facebook. It was like a Muslim and a Christian are debating. It's like, what the fuck are you guys debating? The funny thing is, you just don't realize how similar your shit is. Comfortable myths. Yeah, see, it's one thing to say that, but it's not. They aren't comfortable. Like, it would be one thing if heaven was really easy to get into. And, you know, it wasn't a seemingly impossible task to go to heaven. But that's the part that everybody sort of leaves out, is like, you know, you're probably not going to go to heaven. Oh my God.
It's crazy. So
Sorry, I'm just trying to... You know, and the crazy thing is, like, everybody who's Christian, they know they're wrong. If they didn't know they were wrong, they'd be much more, you know, willing to have conversations. Calling me stupid while believing the world created itself like a... Like, see, this is what I mean. This is your dumbass Christian, right? Because he has to put in his own stuff. And he has to say things that I didn't say to fit his own narrative. But this guy is like, this guy thinks the world created itself. So stupid. Yeah, but God did, right? Because there is no before God, so God created itself, right? It makes much more sense that God created itself and then created everything, right? That somehow makes more sense. Like the Christian argument is always, these guys believe something can come from nothing. It's like, that's exactly what you believe. For those who cannot face the perils of everyday life, because clearly God creating himself makes them worse. Right, exactly. Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it would be one thing if the narrative was a good one. It's not a good narrative. It's clearly a friar fairy tale that I mean, you know, they're the bad guys in the Bible. Satan doesn't even really exist. Okay? Like, Satan shows up periodically, but he's not really involved in the story. The main bad guys are the children of Abraham. And of course, Abraham is the father of the friars, to the friar people. He's the father of all religious people to Christians. And he's a high-ranking prophet in Muslim lore, in Islam. That's why they're all called the Abrahamic religions. But they are the bad guys. They are the ones who kill your Jesus, your superhero, your Christian God's only child. And yet somehow you've been tricked into thinking that they are the good guys. I mean, it's fucking wild. You know? It actually really does fit with Talmudic shit, right? Because in the Talmud, if a Goyim rapes a child, then of course you kill him. But if a friar does it, they are now required to pay the as long as the child is 3 years and 1 day old. And younger than that, it doesn't matter, because it's just like, quote, a poke in the eye. You know, it's actually pretty disgusting. But between 12 years and 1 day or 3 years and 1 day and 12 years and 1 day, the violator is now required to pay the family of the victim the dowry, the full dowry that normally like the betrothed husband's family would have to pay the one family to get their daughter. Well, all that matters is that the payment happens. And if they're required to pay 50 shekels, 100 dinars, whatever, however you want to look, it's about 50 shekels, which is really like it's 4 shekels to every dollar. So you're talking about like $11, $12. But they're required to pay the family the full dowry, and now the victim belongs to their victimizer, somewhere in between a wife and a slave. And it just fits the narrative like in a bigger picture when you look at it, right? Oh look, this is the rabbi character who oh great, the biggest loser ever is live. I'm the biggest loser ever, and you watch me as much as you can. This is the guy, everybody understand, this is the guy who, when I literally told that story and I asked him, so what is that? What do you call that when the friar rapes the child? He said it wasn't rape. It was an act of God. He said it wasn't rape. It was an act of God. This is a guy who identifies as a rabbi. He's not a real rabbi, of course. But understand, like, that's what we're talking about. That's how they think. It was an act of God. Look, oh, stop your yapping, crybaby. That's what the rabbi character just said. He didn't say, no, you misunderstood me. Oh, I didn't say, like, he knows he said it. How does any religion even know that their God ever wanted a holy book in the first place? Well, that's, our song Pudding is about that. I always ask, how do you know God doesn't hate religion with a passion? Your God is as comically powerless as you make him out to be. And so he absolutely hates the religion that exists, all of them. And he's not using, he was finally, after all the years and years and years, he was finally able to break through, because again, he's super comically powerless. And he's working through me to destroy religion. How can you prove that that's not what's happening? God is a being who exists outside of and is unaffected by time, space, and matter. You have to love, first of all, you're a female, right? Crow queen. So never mind 1 Timothy 2:12. We're just gonna say that off the bat. 1 Timothy 2:12. It's F-R-E-I-E-R. If you want to look that up, then you understand. F-R-E-I-E-R. And Jesus came to show. God, so stupid. Nothing wrong with saying, I don't know. God didn't explain anything. Yeah, Jesus never came down and was like, oh yeah, by the way, you're on a planet, one of 9 or 10 planets, depending on what you consider. But you're a planet spinning around. You're in an infinite sea of galaxies and units, a universe. And now Jesus didn't say anything like that. And the little bits that they do say, are more akin to the flat Earth model. It's actually kind of surprising that Christians didn't jump all over it, but they're stupid, so you can't really expect them to make smart decisions. God works in mysterious ways, they say. Yeah. Isn't it funny how God always works in the most comically powerless ways? Unless, of course, you can run really fast. Or you win an award, or, it's like this. People don't understand how arrogant it is. Like, they think they're being humble by saying, oh, all glory be to God. Your fucking ass is saying that God picked you. When you catch the when Stephon Diggs catches the touchdown in between the two players and runs and wins the game and blah blah, and he's like, you can't. That's God right there. That's God. How can you? You're saying you're so good that the only way to explain it is that God came down and like put the juke button on you. Religion is arrogance. It's arrogance. The fact is, if you ask any religious person, why do you choose to believe in the denomination that you choose to believe in? What is the proof that you have that Lutheran is real, or Protestant is real, or anything like that? What's your undeniable proof that one, yours is real, and two, and even more importantly, that all of the other ones are fake? Can you even begin to justify that arrogant belief? And the truth is, you can't. You can't. None of you can explain, give a good reason, given any sort of understanding as to why you believe in what you believe in. And it's really funny because it's you're just too arrogant, too much of an arrogant piece of shit coward to be like, yeah, I only believe this because that's what my family told me to believe. You're just a douchebag. Excuse me, everybody. That's dirt. That would have been a weird thing to try to say. Let's see. How exactly does anything exist outside of time and space that logically and physically does not make sense? But their entire thing doesn't make sense. These Christians call a completely different religion their God's chosen people. If you look at the Bible, it actually it's about today. Because the Bible is all about multiple stories where a friar, because they're the only ones capable of doing it, a friar builds one of the God phones, and again, only the only people able to build a God phone are the friars, but the friar builds a God phone, and they go out in the middle of nowhere where nobody can see it or validate it, and they have a conversation with God where he might rename them or whatever, but he tells them, hey, everything from this place to that place is yours now. And they go, okay, cool. And then they go walking into the city and they're like, hey, everybody, I just built a God phone. You know how we can do that. Out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody else saw it or anything, but God said, everything in this town is mine. So I'm going to live in the big house. And then all of you have to pay taxes and shit. And everybody apparently was like, yeah, okay. The narrative is about taking from the Goyim and giving to the chosen. And that's exactly what's happening nowadays. They take so much money from us every single year, so much tax dollars. It's not just the $3.8 billion cash payment that they're given in the first fiscal month of every year due to the Memorandum of Understanding. Nobody talks about how much money is paid out in the Abraham Accords every year. The Abraham Accords that are literally all of these deals that were struck with Middle Eastern countries that said you guarantee, like they guarantee no matter what happens, they won't interfere in Israeli affairs, that Israelis can travel to and from their country however they want, and whatever other little things they put in there, but those are the main pieces. And for agreeing to that, the United States is going to give them money, weaponry, status, whatever. We pay for it. We get zero benefit from it. Act of God. What a disputable friar. Oh, you think quoting Paul out of context will shut me up? What are you talking about? Quoting Paul out of context. Oh, okay. So did God use the magic to create everything, or did he do a step-by-step process that can be demonstrated and repeated? Magic. God didn't create anything. Yeah, shut up. Again, everything this person says, keep in mind, they called raping children an act of God.
God that doesn't care.
Think about how fucking sick that is.
Lines like we're crazy for our share.
Reverse solipsism? Never heard of that one. God is God. There it is no different religions, I think. Well, the reality is they're really not. They're all three are the Abrahamic religions. They all come from the same source. Abraham, who again was the father of the friar people. Now, part that always gets left out. We always say father of the friar. Who's the mother? Oh, the mother of the friar. That's Sarai, or Sarah, after God had his little way with it. So Abram, at like 90 something, builds one of the God phones, and God's like, okay, Abram, you and your 90 something year old wife are going to give birth to a son, and you're going to call him Ishmael. By the way, your name is now Abraham. Her name is now Sarah. Not Sarai, Sarah. Not Abram, Abraham. And that's the story of how that came to be. The funny thing is, again, Abraham and Sarah are brother and sister. Isn't that nice? I choose to believe because when I asked any God who would listen to help me, Jesus was the only one who answered me. Wow. That's probably the craziest, most arrogant thing I've ever heard any of you say. That took things to a new level. Wow. Wow. And you knew it was Jesus. You could tell by his accent. It definitely wasn't the devil pretending to presenting you with something to try to trick you, because that's sort of what it says. But I was an atheist when I asked, oh, here we go. No, you weren't.
Are you ready for another conspiracy theory?
If you're an atheist, you're not asking God for help. I made fun of believers, much like you are now, right? So this is one of those arrogant things that just really grinds my gears, right? So you believe that the God that literally watches as children get raped by clergy in the church consistently, the God that's watching Israel starve children, Christian children, mind you, fall buildings on them, and then the child doesn't die from the blast. They're caught in the rubble, and they don't die right away. So it takes like 3-4 days for them to die, but nobody can get to them because, again, they're under a whole building. But God is not helping them because God's hanging out with you, apparently. Do you understand how goddamn arrogant that is? Like, it's so, like, disgusting that somebody can be so fucking arrogant. God stopped what they were doing to talk to me. Just insane. Just insane. Prove God. Then that's it. Your specific God, and then that it wanted your specific interpretation of your religion and holy book. Yeah, they're just silly. They really are silly. I mean, at a point, Israelites were the chosen people, but not anymore since Jesus died for everyone, even those who don't acknowledge him. Yet what are you even talking about? Now you're just sort of rambling silly nonsense. And that's often what happens. Trying to sort of, make your thing not look as bad as it does. I am absurd and I exist. Ah, yes, Jesus died because God forgot how to forgive without human sacrifice. Well, and the best part is, like, who did God owe those sins to? I always wonder about this one. Like, who came to God's door and was like, hey, we're monitoring your earth creation, and it looks like their sin total is super high. So we're going to need you to pay for that one way or another. God was like, I don't have enough money. What do you mean? And he's like, well, you're going to have to do something. And he was like, how about I impregnate a 12 or 13-year-old virgin, I then let that kid get all fucked up. 12 years old, it'll disappear. 32, it'll reappear. And then I'll kill it on a cross. How about that? Would that pay for all of the sins? The sins that are only sins depending on how you view things? And of course, we're talking about New Testament sins, not Old Testament sins. Hey, how did Christ get baptized? What sense does that make? Don't you think that'd be kind of weird to baptize Christ? Put that figurative mark on the mark of the beast on their forehead? Nope. God could have forgiven that. Would be him compromising with the sin Adam and Eve committed by eating the fruit. Right. Because Adam and Eve, so this is like my favorite fucking story, right? This is really my favorite. So God creates the Garden of Eden, but he needs a gardener. Like, you have to understand, the story they tell you it makes much more sense if you look at it from a logical perspective, in that what we think of as God is like this guy whose name is Todd God. And he bought an earth kit. It's like it's like a fish tank, but it's a kit. And the Bible starts with the face of God is flying over the waters of the deep, is surveying the waters of the deep. So basically the fish tank is in the middle of the room. Well, first of all, God turns on the light, right? Because you got to turn on the light. That's the first thing God does. God doesn't make the sun and the moon until day 4, which means, like, how do you have 4 days without the sun and the moon? But God turns on the light. The next thing God does, which is something that everybody loves to leave out, is God creates the firmament, the indestructible dome that separates the waters of heaven from the earth down below. Blah, blah, blah. Then he creates the Garden of Eden. Then he creates Adam and Lilith, but that part's left out because Lilith didn't like to listen like she should have. So she got kicked out. But hey, we don't talk about that too much. So God and Adam are hanging out. They're having a great time. Adam's scratching his nuts in his asshole all the time. God doesn't really care. But they're making, God's makes a little hippopotamus out of clay, and he's, all right, Adam, what do we call this? And Adam's like, a hippopotamus. Yeah, that's and okay, that's a hippopotamus. Now they have 2 hippopotamus. And they make a giraffe. That's a giraffe. I like that. That's a giraffe. Ooh, that's a monkey. And apparently, again, they must have made all the bugs too, because how could you have all the bugs if God didn't make them? But knowing that it's a garden, a lush garden, there's bugs, there'd have to be bugs. There's Adam's crotch and asshole would be infested with bugs. He's naked, walking around naked. So Adam watches after they create everybody, Adam watches as everyone's fucking, and he's like, I want to fuck too. God's like, damn it. I was hoping you wouldn't do that. Hoping you would forget. Damn it. He's like, well, last time we did this, I made her just like you, and she didn't listen. So maybe if I make her from your rib, then she'll listen to you. Because nothing else is made from something else's rib like that. But in that, if you look at it, it's like a guilt trip. You came from man, woman. That's why you're even here, kind of bullshit. But he makes Eve, and then he goes to work. He leaves. He has to leave. And he's like, all right, you guys hang out. Don't eat from that tree that's in the middle of the garden, right? That big, with the big, beautiful apples and shit on it. And I'm sure Adam and Eve were like, but animals are eating that shit. Like, wouldn't animals be eating from that tree? Same if they're big, beautiful apples like that. Wouldn't animals be eating from it? And what would happen if the animals eat from it? Maybe that's what happened to the snake. But I assume immediately Adam was like, we gotta fuck right now. And then he fell asleep. And Eve was like, that wasn't very exciting. So she went around like cleaning stuff. But you have to remember, these guys are dumb as shit. So the snake appears. And it's like, psst, hey girl, come here. And she's like, who, me? And the snake's like, yeah, dumbass, come here. And she's like, ooh, hey, why do you speak out your mouth as? And the snake's like, don't worry about it. Hey, stop scratching your coochie. She's like, I can't, it itches. And he's like, all right, well, do you want like all of the information? All you got to do is take a bite from that tree, from that apple. And he's like, no. God said not to do that. He's a dickhead, so I don't want to do that. Because remember, God doesn't have his security system set up yet. Infallible, all-seeing, all-knowing God has no idea what's happening. So the snake's like, well, do you want to stop scratching your cooch and your butthole so much? Ugh. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, go take a bite. That'll cure it. Really? Okay. And she goes and she takes a bite. And as soon as she takes the bite, she has that Google Earth experience. And as soon as she comes back down, she's like, oh my, I'm fucking naked. Oh, yeah, all these little bugs are biting my shit because I'm dirty and I haven't been washing and I probably still got some cum dripping out and, you know, my butthole is exposed. Oh, okay. It's a good thing this download came with an ability to know how to make clothes out of palm leaves, because she whips up a little bikini made of palm leaves. And she goes and she wakes up Adam, and she's like, Adam, get up. Adam, you gotta wake up. Huh? Oh, you want to do it again? No, shut up, stupid. You gotta go take a bite from that tree. Adam's like, what's wrong with your voice? Why you talk funny now? She's like, look, dickhead. Do you want me to put that thing in my mouth again? All right, go take a bite. Okay. He goes and takes a bite. Same thing happens. Boom, I'm fucking naked. Oh, that's why I'm so itchy. All these bugs, look at how red it is. And I look like a baboon. I named it that. I like that name. But yeah, okay, this makes sense now. All right. Hey, can you whip me up a pair of jorts, John Cena style, out of those palm fronds? She's like, yeah, I happen to know how to make those too. And just as Adam puts on his jorts, God comes home. Remember, all-seeing, all-powerful, all-knowing God is going, Adam, wherefore art thou, Adam? Because he doesn't know. And Adam and Eve are literally like hiding behind a tree, not too far away, looking at like, what do we do? I don't know, we gotta go out there. Yeah, but he's gonna get mad. No, he won't get mad. He'll understand. We'll just explain it to him, the bugs, and, you know, we just figured it out. We'll just say we figured it out. And I was like, oh, and God's like, Adam, wherefore art thou, Adam? And, okay, we got to go. And they step out from behind a tree. And God, like, turns around. Like, they weren't hiding really well. They just hidden behind a tree. And as soon as God sees them, he goes, oh, my God. Why aren't you naked anymore? You took a bite from that tree, didn't you? I told you not to. And Adam's like, yeah, but we were itchy and we were naked, bud. Why'd you want us to be naked? And God's like, oh, whose fault is this? And Adam's like, hurt. Bitch, motherfucker. And he's like, oh, I knew you were going to be problems from the beginning, bitch. That Lilith was a problem. I knew you were going to be this is supposed to be for me and my little Adam. And now you just fucked everything up. I wanted him naked. That's how I got this. I don't know why I put that tree in the middle. That was stupid. I was trying to like test you or some shit, but obviously that didn't work. But from now on, anytime you have children, there's a good chance you're going to die, and it's going to be really painful and yucky. Ew, it's gross. Ew.
afterbirth and ugh. It's all hot and wet. It's just disgusting. Ugh. But it's gonna be bad. Now get the fuck out of here. This is a Garden of Eden's office close to you. It's closed. Get the fuck out of here. And Adam and Eve are like, all right. And they leave. And they have their kids, Cain and Abel, who then take their wives from the people of Nod. Like, wait, wasn't Adam and Eve the people? Who are the people of Nod? But we just leave that out.
If you're gonna lie big, lie big. A big lie's been supplied to decline. From the old London Bridge to the three little lies in the lines of the grid. Lies in the lines of the grid. Lies in the lines of the grid. Lies in the lines of the grid.
I don't know much about the political stuff, right? Because you're a dumb Christian. Right? You have to be dumb. You spend your time worried about fairy tale bullshit that does nothing, that hasn't done anything in 2,000 fucking years, and you don't know about the shit that's actually affecting you. Doesn't that seem like a brilliant plan on their end? Keep the goy distracted and stupid so we can do horrible shit right in front of them and they won't even notice. We can commit genocide, they won't even notice. The crazy part is the Palestinians, especially the Lebanese are really, really Christian. Like the Muslim narrative doesn't work nearly as well in Lebanon, but even in Palestine was full of Christians. Full of Christians. Where was the Christian response? Where was the church going, hey, stop killing Christians? The only time the church ever spoke out was after October 7th, and they were condemning the false flag attack where no Israelis were killed or taken hostage outside of those affected by the Hannibal Directive. But that was the only time you've ever heard the church be like, hey, you should probably stop doing that. Oh yes, because putting the tree of knowledge in the Eden, knowing full well what it was going to happen, was our fault. Right, because, God, there's no time and space. God exists outside of time and space. So God knew putting the tree in the middle of the garden meant they would eat it.
What they make and break through the harness will destroy other employees through our honesty.
It's funny, though. In today's society, if you're a parent and you're like, yeah, so what? I have guns and I leave them on the fucking dinner table and on the countertops and shit, fully loaded, one in the chamber, ready to go. Nobody would be like, yeah, and I tell my kids don't touch them. They better not touch them. If they touch them and they die, well, that's on them. I told them not to touch that fucking gun in the middle of the thing, and they did it. That's on them. Who thinks that way? Is it the same people that are like my kids have to ask me for food? And not just ask, they have to beg. And I will make them suffer and go for days and days and days without food. Just because fucking that's what I feel like doing? No. As a father, I'm constantly like, here, eat. And they're like, I'm not hungry. And I'm like, yeah, eat your food, shut up. That's what a father does. It was promised to him, all in all, Jesus loves you and died for you, then rose again. Oh, yeah. You got to love that shit. You got to love that. Well, never mind what it says. The part you're supposed to focus on is that Jesus loves you and died for your sins. Because you're such a horrible, horrible sinner. You're a sinner.
Let's stop falling for Charlie Kirk. It's just another operation.
So do you just ban all friar people? Yes. Then continue to talk. Oh no, do I ban them then continue to talk shit? Who gets banned? Like, this is the kind of stupid nonsense that they do. This is obviously another friar.
Their cover has been blown since we were forced to take the
Urban, my main account now. Urban? Oh, unban my main account. All I said was you people are winning and you banned me. Yeah, that's all that happened. That sounds like me. Though I'm not going to ban that one, right? Funny how that works. Yes, we got somebody dumb enough to say, you are an idiot. You are an idiot. I love it. Yes, when I was an atheist, about to commit suicide in depression, I prayed to God who would listen, and Jesus answered, sorry, that hurts your feelings. Yeah, that hurts my feelings. Because you're an arrogant, see you next Tuesday. Yeah, that's what it is. God let you get to all these points because he loves you so much. And then you were like, any God that'll listen, please help me. I'm going to commit suicide. Like, you're just such a clown. What a clown show. What an arrogant piece of shit. When you were about to commit suicide to yourself, God stepped in. All these children being starved, all these children being killed by the Israelis, by God's chosen people. It's not their choice. They're not choosing to kill themselves because, oh, life is too hard. Oh, my life is too hard. I can't fix it, so I'm going to kill myself. God steps in and that then, but doesn't help all those. What about all those children that are literally being raped by clergymen? And they're in their heads, they're screaming, please help me, God, please. You would assume that's what they would be doing. Let's just say we assume that. And God does nothing. Is he too busy helping you through your suicide? Can you be my mod? No. How long are you going to use mainstream narratives? Oh, yeah. Angry man, small home, mad about the cards he's getting. So that's another fucking friar. They always try to play that card. Like I'm sitting here going, oh, my house is so small. Oh, I'm so mad about my personal stuff. Like I'm not talking about much bigger picture shit outside of me. Shit that actually has nothing to do with me. Doesn't really affect me. Right? That makes sense. Yep. I'm crying about the cards that I've been dealt. But this is friar shit. This is how friars operate. This is how stupid they are. They don't have any real arguments. Other than you have mental problems. You're schizophrenic. You're delusional. You need to take your meds. Take your meds. You need to take your meds. I mean, it's fucking insane. I highly suggest you watch the South Park episode with Cupid Yee, Cupid Me.
The sickness that we've known.
Take your meds. You gotta take your meds.
And really, how could it not? Their cover has been blown.
Cartman, it's Valentine's Day, and Cartman has this,
and Charlie Kirk was a plot.
what everybody assumes is a hallucination that appears to him on Valentine's Day. It looks just like him, except it's a little naked angel with its little naked penis showing, because South Park loves drawing little kid penises. Because that totally makes sense, right? Like, they definitely needed to bring that element to the show. People were like, yeah, I really like South Park. I just wish they would show more naked kid penises.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's fucking disgusting. But it's friars. It's friars that run the show, and it makes sense. Their disgusting sense of humor is that. But, so, Cartman called the thing Cupid Me. But when it doesn't take its medication, it becomes Cupid Yee, stupid Yee. Cupid Yee, Kanye. and it wears a crooked hat and a jacket and it becomes a G gangster. And what it does is fly around shooting people with arrows so that their eyes open and they see that Kyle controls Hollywood. And it's funny because they act like that's an anti-Semitic trope to say that we control Hollywood, but they control. There's a movie. It'll be in the description of the video. It'll be the first link in the description of the video, and it's second link in the description of the video, and it's a movie called Hollywoodism. You can look it up right now if you want to. Made in 1998. Made solely by them. Written, produced, directed, filmed, cut, edited by them. And it's a flex. It's about how they control Hollywood. They always have. Doesn't say how they created Hollywood, but that they created Hollywood. They ran it with an iron fist. You know, they manufactured the Hall of Hoax narrative. And it you know, it's like it's not, they're never going to give that power up. Why would they? Here we are 30 years later and they've just decided to give all that power up? No. So saying that Kyle controls Hollywood, that's not even a slur. That's a great thing. That's an incredible accomplishment. 2% of the United States population controls Hollywood. 0.183% of the world's population controls Hollywood. That's an amazing achievement. And yet they make it seem like it's some sort of trope against them for anybody to acknowledge that truth. And the whole premise behind the whole point of the episode is that they're trying to get Cupid Yee to take his meds. Take your meds. And they're screaming it over and over again. Take your meds. Take your meds, Cupid Yee. Take your meds. And Cartman finally catches him and forces a little blue pill in his mouth. And after he swallows it, his Kanye outfit disappears. He's naked. And he flies around with his bow and arrow going tee, tee, shooting people and making them fall in love. Literally telling you that without the meds, you'll see that they control everything. And as the last thing Cupid Yee says is, no, man, the meds control me, man. Christ was baptized by John the Baptist to set an example for all the people to be born again, cleansed of their sin. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Christ was baptized. You're a disgrace. Why don't you leave well enough alone? People love God. Who the hell do you think you are? The same person that, I guess, because, like, who the hell do you think you are to tell me that I'm not allowed to speak my mind on my feed? I got 6 people watching me. Why does what I say matter so much especially if it's not true? See, the problem with you dumb Christians is your arrogance, right? Your arrogance is like you know you're wrong. You know you can't actually make sense of any of this. You know I'm right. And because of that, and that arrogance and your just immature insanity, you resort to this kind of dumb nonsense. But this is typical. Right? The dumb broad that wants to ignore 1 Timothy 2:12 and thinks that when she was going to kill herself, God reached out and helped her. Doesn't help anyone. God reached out and helped this dumb bitch who was going to kill herself. Think about the arrogance and selfishness of someone who kills themselves, right? And the thing is, People who really want to kill themselves do. If you don't, you're unsuccessful or whatever. You tell people about whatever. It's because you don't want to actually do it. It's an attention thing. But the selfishness, the type of person that can say, oh, this is hard and I could make things better, but I'm just going to choose not to and cry about it. And, the person it takes to commit suicide, you don't care about your family. You don't care about your friends. You don't care about the poor person that has to discover you and then be fucked up for the rest of their lives. Like, you're just such a piece of shit. What sucks is the people that are in, their environment is what sort of creates that shit. Because they're in a super religious environment or whatever. But to sit here and be like, yeah, I was all depressed and suicidal and God came down and talked to me. It's fucking insane. Let's see. Let's just go. I have as many magic powers as the Pope. I can tell you that. I can bless you with all the same magic powers the Pope can. Isn't it strange how, again, the Christians just come on and they say stupid things like, Jesus Christ is Lord and God. What? Is Lord and God?
Excuse me, Greg and Nick. I'm Petty.
Yeah, he hasn't.
You broke my heart playing.
I've been paying attention.
With the whip. A startled little kid. Off bark that can't sniff like you made the river split. And you could have helped me quit if you just read me the script. Like Noah's Ark, you're not your eggs.
Robert, Randy, come on, people. I mean, it is interesting because out of everybody I've ever asked, why do you believe in the one sect you believe in? At least that dumb broad had some sort of reason, though she didn't fully answer the question. She said that, God came, talked, but did God tell her you need to be Protestant or Lutheran, or how did that work? What the fuck? Like, the thing about all of this stuff is that, you've been tricked. Like, you're a victim here. You just don't realize it. All go. Oh, is it going, man? We've got a bunch of really super smart Christians here today, Algo. Algo's a Christian, though, aren't you, Algo? Hoodwinked. You ever watch that movie? It's a good one. It's funny. Deceived. Yeah.
That's the funny one.
What do you mean, fuck no? You talk about Jesus all the time, dude. Your experience talking to Jesus, do you think of that differently now, or are you just being weird? And it's interesting too, because like that broad that was here, she said, "Oh, I used to be an atheist and make fun of Christians and all that." And I don't really make fun of Christians per se. I mean, it's more of just pointing out the stupidity of it all. No, the stupidity. I hate when people do that. I know exactly what word I pick. And Christianity is stupidity. You are talking about flat out stupidity. And you know it is because the other versions of that story that exist with different names in different places, you call them stupid?
Infecting the illusion you choose to call your own. Deflecting the
Matt,
impression you should be using.
Matt definitely is. Let's.
Chicken on the throne.
Where are
Who
my
would know
peoples?
the worst things done to Palestinians whose homes are blown up just for fun? It's well known the time will come when, as well.
Oh shit! You know what I need to do is I need to be sharing this on the Facebook because I do. I always forget. I'm not the best self promoter in the world because I hate doing it. I feel dumb. But I can reconcile it by saying, look, you know, they fuck with your shit. The people I send this stuff to, they you know, they want me to send it to them because if I don't, they don't get the notification. We are Team Jesus. We completely understand the forgiveness aspect. That doesn't make any sense. What? So because of one little part of it, you assign yourself the whole narrative? That's the thing I don't understand about you type of Christians. Where it's like, don't you just realize like you're a good person? So because you're a good person, you're finding good in a horrible situation and then assigning it to the situation like it only exists because of the situation? No, dude. You're just good and understand the forgiveness aspect of things. But that has nothing to do with religion. Religion didn't practice forgiveness. Religion killed people. Millions and millions of people were killed for not believing the word of God. Oh, look, we have a Bowman dick sucker here. Look at that. Joined 3 years ago, has 140 subscribers. So this person, Cold Creek Catfishing Billy, is a pedophile, people. They were hiding too. They were hiding. Look at this. We have a fucking pedophile here. You'd rather serve a God that would forgive me than require me to sacrifice for anything. Why does it have to be either or? Why can't it just be something else? Why, what do you need to be forgiven for? I mean, if you really think about it, it's all just control mechanisms. It's all just like MK Ultra control shit. You use guilt. You use manipulation. You use, depravity. You use abuse. And you break people into these fucking morons. Our newest video is great. I wish it was a little bit, I wish it had a few more shots of it, but it just shows you, like, do you really think those people are getting the Holy Ghost? Or are they just acting like fucking morons? And what they're doing usually is trying to outdo the next person. Guilt is to tell us your sins. That's what it is. Talk about sins. Go get in a little box and you tell that guy that's in the box all your dirty little sins and all the details. He's probably jerking off while writing the shit down. Why? So they can use it against you. Like, do you understand how stupid people are? Well, no, the confessional is a sacred place, so, I don't know. The king knows, the king has a connection to God, right? That's how the king knows everything that's going on. He usually finds shit out after you do confessional because you're confessing it and God hears it and then it goes to God and God tells the king and that's why no. The confessional is how they get their dirt on you. It's like the televangelist. It's like the 700 Club. You call the 700 Club, and you pledge $1,000 seed, whatever. And they say, okay, thank you so much for that seed. Is there anything else is there anything that you would want Pat to pray for? Do you have any injuries or anything? And they'll be like, oh, I have this bursitis in my shoulder and whatever. Okay, Betty, or Susie, thank you. And so Susie, faithfully watching the 700 Club, a week later, she sees Pat do his voodoo bullshit that is like, it's so not Christianity. It's like fucking crazy that people fall for this. Right? Like, the notion that not just Pat, it's not even Pat. It's Pat, it's Wendy, it's Gordon. I mean, Pat's dead, of course, but somehow the people that work at the 700 Club have been taught how to do this thing where they can command God to do things that people have already been praying about. But when Pat says, God, Susie out of Wichita, Kansas, there's a Susie in Wichita, Kansas, who has a problem with her shoulder. Well, guess what? There's like 15 Susies out of Wichita, Kansas with a problem with their shoulder. Stand up and claim your miracle, Susie. Touch! He commands God to touch that shoulder. Like, why doesn't he just teach everybody how to command God? Wouldn't that be better? How come when COVID came out, they didn't go, hey, you know what? We're not going to be doing any individual touchings for a couple of weeks. We're just going to combine all of our powers and merge into Godvastator. And we are going to touch COVID right the fuck out of here. Okay, God, we don't want COVID anymore. Touch, get out of here. No need to confess to another man, just has to be between you and God. Now, that's not what it says. And when I call good old Billy the fucking pedo a pedo, his response is, God still loves you. Sounds like a pedo to me. If you don't believe in God, explain the randomness of George Floyd mural getting struck by lightning. It was brick, not copper. Oh, yeah. Did you know that trees aren't copper and they get struck by lightning all the fucking time? Did you know that people aren't copper and people get struck all the time? But hey, the George Floyd mural got struck by lightning and it wasn't copper, it was made of brick. Brick being one of the most conducive materials like known to man. Bricks can conduct electricity and channel electricity and all that better than most materials. But hey, it's God. God loves you and Jesus died for your sins. Confess and follow. Like what? Where am I supposed to follow him? You do understand that motherfucker's dead, right? Like, if it existed, which it didn't, but he's dead, long time ago. Yeah. That's what happened. We voted COVID away. Oh, did we? If Bibby gets struck by lightning, will you be a believer? Sure. Yeah. I'd like to see that.
Is that Netanyahu?
Yeah.
Why? Why is he Bibi? or Bibby or whatever the fuck.
Benjamin.
Is that? It's
Sure.
not like a nick.
Benjamin. Benny.
I just didn't know.
It's instead of calling him Benji, because I guess Benji would be too childish. Because they're usually Benjis.
Oh, you're not just making fun of them there.
What? What? Oh yeah, baby. Everybody calls him Bibby.
Not a make fun of. It's
No. No, that's his official nickname.
But it's not an official title or nickname.
No, it's Bibi Netanyahu. He just loves making shit up. Shows how fake shows he's fake trying to get views. Oh yeah, right. Because again, if I was trying to get views, I should talk about all the things that get you censored and make fucking weirdos come after you. It wouldn't make more sense for me to just be doing a Praise Jesus podcast, because Praise Jesus podcasts haven't proven to be not just successful but lucrative. If I just wanted attention and views, wouldn't it make more sense to talk about things that don't get people censored? And that's a weird thing to say, again, when you're the one identifying with a pedophile. So if you're identifying with a pedophile, Will Bowman, then you're a fucking pedophile. You're a Trump supporter, aren't you? Only pedophiles support Trump. Conventional clay bricks are poor conductors. No, they're not. They're great conductors. Do you know who sits on the throne in heaven? Yeah, some weirdo who's surrounded by rings of creatures. One ring, actually 2 rings, but one ring, there are these beings that exist, and their sole purpose in existence is to constantly mutter over and over again, "Oh, Lordy, 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 you are the best. You deserve all the praise and worship that you get. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy." And that's literally all they do, all day, every day, for all of eternity. The story is just so fucking dumb. Don't you know who to turn to for salvation? What do I need salvation for or from? Like, this is part of that abuse. You know, it's Stockholm syndrome. It's like the abuser has made you so reliant on them in the stupidest ways. You're like, how could I ever cut my steak without my abuser cutting it for me? Like, dude, you know you can just grab a fork and knife and cut it yourself. No, I can't. Ah! So stupid. Do you think pink headsack allowing guns on bases is just a call for a false flag attack? No. No, I don't think false flags work that way. I think, the false flag is just going to be something. Like, what would be the best false flag to happen right now? Well, I mean, they just did one. They just did one here in Michigan at the Temple Israel compound fortress. But they made a completely false narrative. And it it's one of these situations where, like, that compound has so many security cameras all over the place that they could have completely destroyed any sort of speculation or any sort of scrutiny or whatever just by releasing security cameras. This idea that we have footage of the guy buying fireworks the day or two before, but we have no footage of him sitting in the parking lot for 2 hours without being approached by any of the security there. Like, it's all just so stupid. And then somehow able to maneuver his car past all the fortifications designed to prevent that from happening. Drove his car into the building where, again, there's security cameras everywhere. So there should be footage of this. He had thousands of dollars worth of fireworks and fuel, and combustion and combustible materials in his back seat, in his trunk.
He somehow got out, lit everything on fire, got into a gunfight with the security, but then at the last minute turned the gun on himself and shot himself, directly. Like, it looked like he got shot execution style, but he did it to himself.
No, that can happen.
That can happen. No, that can happen. And there's no footage of any of this. There's drone footage or whatever outside the building, and the building is smoking, but you can't hear any fireworks going off. You don't see any flashes or anything. So basically the building got destroyed, which means it'll have to be rebuilt on the taxpayer dime, of course. But even more importantly, an hour after this whole thing started, not as this thing was, an hour after it started. So once all of the attention was all on that, all over the BBC was covering it. No one died. The only person that died in the thing was him. They say another security guard got hit by the truck. Sheriff Mike Bouchard said he saw a video of what happened. Where's the video that he saw? But about an hour after it started, once the news cameras were all in place and everything was working the way they wanted it to. Sorry. Israel decided to drop all charges against the 6 IDF soldiers that were caught on film, on camera, raping a Palestinian man and putting their extendo batons up to his butthole and pushing the button so it rips him up inside. But they you've seen the video where the shield, the 3 guys are holding the shield. You can make out what's there. 2 guys are holding him down, and then you can see the guy take his pants down, and you can see him start to go at it. Caught on tape. The video was a couple of stories up, like 2-3 stories up. They didn't know the camera was there. The woman that released the footage, she got arrested. She ended up getting in trouble. But when the soldiers got arrested, because everybody likes to be like, oh, it's just the Israeli leadership that's bad. It's not the cult. It's Zionism. It's not the cult. Well, the cult members throughout the society banded together and stormed the facility where they were being housed, demanding their release, banging on walls, breaking into past the security, because the security is not going to harm any of them.
I had a Hasidic Jew put a post up yesterday saying the world needs to know that Zionism is not Judaism. That
He's right.
That the powers that be practice Zionism and do all these hateful things and are in support of, genocide and think that the world is on earth to serve them. And, please know that there's a lot of us Orthodox Jews that don't believe that don't agree with any. And I was.
Did you ask him, what about metzitzia? Come on, make it work.
I went through and read a lot of comments.
They're so delusional. And the thing is, because they present themselves as a rabbi or something along those, they got the good goofy outfit on or whatever. It's like, I'm not supposed to even think that, hey, maybe they're lying. Like, how? You're saying that they are lying? Yeah. Yeah, nobody is above lying. Me asking, me pointing that, showing that, you're lying. I know you know the same shit I know. You know more than I know. And to pretend like you're just this innocent victim it's insulting. The fuck are you talking about? But, what was I talking about before this? Angela so rudely interrupted me.
I thought you were done.
I know. I didn't. I just stopped for a second. But I do get where you thought I was done. The whole thing is fucking crazy. It's all crazy. And that's a great example of how fucking crazy they are.
Well,
Because
he was going on and saying, like, you know, back in the day, the Jews and Muslims lived in peace among each other. We both believe in the same God. You know, like, Jews don't have a problem with Muslims. It's these idiot Zionists that have taken everything and gotten greedy and
sure,
control the world.
I mean, I tell you this all the time. The Palestine situation, unfortunately, falls into the distraction category. The genocide, the Zionist aspect of things is secondary. What is more important than anything else is to protect the friar children. I mean that. Like, I'm not saying that in any sort of, like, there's benefit that comes from it, but you have to understand what is happening here. And we're talking about something that is not just in Israel. That's happening here in the United States in all of those Lakewood-like communities. We're talking about a pedophile organization that is doing metzitzia way that, like, their ultimate excuse is it happens less than you think. What the fuck does that even mean? If it happens at all, it's not okay. And the bigger issue is that there's nobody that says anything about it. And if someone like me says something, like, you know, according to logical sort of, like, reason, the guy that's sitting here going, we need to protect the friar children over anything else, why am I not getting a ton of friar support? Especially by all of those who don't practice and think it's wrong or whatever. Shouldn't they be supporting me?
That's not all that you say. So when they hear the other stuff you say,
doesn't matter. At the end of the day, none of it matters compared to protecting these children. We're talking about protecting children. And we're talking about unbelievable ritualistic atrocities. Like, this is and the buying and selling and the dowries and all these other things that it doesn't happen as much as you think, doesn't just fucking absolve. You know? Even if it's happening 2 or 3 times in a given community. That's not okay. That's criminal. And they all know about it. They all fucking, it's a small, tight-knit community. They all know about it. And I am not going to be some dumbass that thinks they live their lives by their book. Everything they do is by their book. Except for they cut out a couple of things that bothered the Goyim. That makes no sense.
Christians live by the book and don't, because there's so many terrible things in there.
What are you talking about?
So the whole Christians, you know, oh, well, you guys stone your women if you wear different colors.
Show me an example of that.
I'm saying it's very common practice to believe in something, but not practice all of it because you don't like it.
Sure. So, all of those people that are like that, shouldn't they be like, this actually makes us look really bad, so I'm going to oppose it?
Yeah?
Yes. But what would make you not do that?
Realistically, that's not how that works, unfortunately. It should.
Okay, well, it should. That's the thing.
But
it doesn't because they're not held accountable.
People are human and don't get involved in other people's business.
Of course people want to get involved in other people. Now you're just sort of rambling shit. People love getting involved in other people's business. What are you talking about?
When it comes to, like, religious rituals, people would rather be like, yeah, that's awful, but...
Okay, so that does not matter. What you're saying is the Angela thing that doesn't believe anything can be fixed and whatnot. But I because people have that perspective, how does that eliminate anything being said?
It doesn't eliminate it.
Okay.
People are human.
Sure.
And you're asking them
to stop raping children.
To confront somebody that's doing something horrific. And
I'm not asking anybody to
confrontation
confront
is
anybody.
Scary.
That's not at all what I'm saying.
So what do you expect
I'm
us to
saying,
do?
why don't, well, I'll do the confrontation. Or somebody else can do the, you don't have to do it, but you can show support. You don't join the fight for, you're not out there killing Palestinians, but you fucking support Israel, don't you? Well, do that same thing. Support something you're not partaking in. You, again, it's amazing how, like, if we were talking about anybody else doing it, any group of people doing it, it'd just be, there's no exceptions. This isn't okay. Well, other than the Catholic Church, I guess, and we do so. But, like, if we were saying, NAMBLA, nobody thinks anything good is happening at NAMBLA. They could be funding all of the science projects and sending all the monkeys to space that you want to believe happens and all of these other things. But if you're like, yeah, but at the end of the day, they support the fucking relationships between kids and men and a bunch of pedophilia. And everybody's like, oh yeah, no, that's unacceptable. I don't care what they do, that's unacceptable. And I'm sorry if we were talking about a bunch of people who were like, yeah, I do actually think this is bad, but I don't want to get involved. I have so much going on. I'm scared, my family, I don't want to get treated, but you're right. It's really wrong. If that was the case, that'd be one thing, but that never happens. That never fucking happens. They never come in here and go, yeah, that's awful. I really wish we could do something about it. But they never. The only thing that ever happens is that I'm the bad guy for saying it. And I'm sorry, if you know that your neighbor is raping children, you know it. You've heard the screams and cries. You've seen different kids come out, go in, not come out, whatever. And you're like, well, shit, as long as he doesn't do that to my kids, you're a piece of shit.
How a lot of people live, sweetheart.
Okay, well, that's not okay.
Well, life needs to get easier.
Okay, well, then if you're going to say that stuff, then you need to be willing to look at what the cause of so much of it is. And it turns out, it just happens to turn out that the same people who I'm talking about that do all these horrible things, they also happen to control every aspect of your life. So this conspiracy is not a conspiracy theory. If I was wrong about the shit I say, why would there be so much effort to say and to try to distract and bring up stupid shit and just, why would there be any sort of opposition? He's arguing with his wife. Yeah, well, at least she has an argument. You guys don't even have an argument.
That I agree with what he's saying. I'm trying to give him the perspective of, the other side to get a better understanding of people as a whole, to find a better solution that
what are you talking about?
Palatable for, everybody, not just...
No solution is going to be palatable for everybody. It's this way because there's a lot of people that like it this way. They don't have to do what I'm doing. I'm not asking people to do what I do. Okay, well...
It takes balls and courage, and most people don't have that.
Most people go with the flow. So if we can go with the flow, then that's fine. Just go with the flow. Just help in ways that you can. One of the biggest things you can do is to stop contributing to the problem. Like that you can't just be like, I'm against it and all that, but I'm a still go. I'm still giving them my money. I'm a still blindly vote. I'm a still, like it's stupid. And to say I have that understanding. I know that's how the majority understand things. I understood things more that way as I was younger, but this isn't like, nothing that you're saying is like new. I know that. I know how people are. I know how people are more than most, being the situation I grew up in. Being a halfie surrounded by people who were too ignorant to think hey, this person might not be what, we are. I've seen how white people are when they think they're safe. But everything I talk about is backed up by facts. I back up my shit with the facts that they want us to know. It's not, it could be different, sure. But this is, I only use the official narrative. You don't hear me quoting random YouTube videos. You don't hear me quoting Alex Jones or anything like that. Everything I do is them. And I guarantee none of you have put in nearly as much effort into this as I have. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know what you believe. It should be really strange to you, even my wife. The way that you have this innate sort of need to defend this one group, unlike any other group. You don't see that same sort of blind, oh well defense when it comes to Muslims. The fact is, we all have heard of the female genital mutilation that they do, especially in places like Saudi Arabia, where they practice the Wahhabi sect of Islam. We all know that is just fucking atrocious, right? And everybody's against it, and it's not even really a secret, right? Do you understand that in the friar circles, they have the same shit? They call it female circumcision. What the fuck do you think female circumcision is? Anybody that wants to, it will be in the description after the fact, or you can look it up now. There's an article called "The Bottom of Darkness" by put out by the Israel Hayom website. And again, pay attention to look at the desperation in the comment section right now, trying to get me to stop talking about this. Why does anybody want me to stop talking about this? Who would want me to? Do you think atheists? Do you think Christians? Do you think Muslims are out here going, man, this guy is talking about the friars and how awful they are and pointing out factual shit about them? He needs to stop. He should focus on something else. Who's going to say that? There's a lot going on here that most people don't realize. But the Bottom of Darkness article was put out in April 2025, April 23rd, 2025. And it chronicles the accounts of 10 different anonymous victims amongst the hundreds and thousands that have been reported and the tens of thousands that go unreported, talking about how ritualistic sexual abuse exists everywhere in Israel, top to bottom, left to right, in all sectors, all sects. And although they may be drastically different in their, outward appearance and beliefs and all that, each different little sect, for some strange reason, the abuse, the misinterpretation of their biblical shit creates the exact same types of abuse. And it's always led by rabbis, and it's really, really atrocious. It's a really crazy ass article to read. It's hard to read because, one, it's just difficult to read. To read those stories it's hard. But two, the website will literally kick you off. It'll take you to different articles. One article it loves to take you to is how Israel destroyed Assad's Syrian navy.
Well, see, even that. How many people are going to have the determination
Right.
to keep going back to actually get to. I'd prefer to be like, fuck it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's absolutely why it happens.
Silly.
Oh, look. It's not a big deal. It's just an act of God, says the rabbi character.
What's an act of God?
Raping children. He thinks it's not a big deal. It's an act of God. Abuse, amuse, it's not a big deal. Yep. His sources are his made up in his own head. Yep. I made up Israel Hayom, bottom of darkness. That's what I did. First, I made it up. Then I infiltrated. Well, I made up Israel Hayom. Right? Even though, I guess I would have then had to make up Sheldon Adelson. The Adelsons, Miriam and Sheldon Adelson, the largest contributors to Trump's campaign. The people he admitted like that, he would call me and he would say, I need to see you. And I'd say, Sheldon, I'm the president. You can't just come in here. And he'd just walk right in, walk past the security and close the door. They're the reason why I took the Golan Heights. They're the reason why I moved the capital of Jerusalem to Jerusalem. Like, this is, he's outwardly saying this shit. And Sheldon died, so it's only Miriam now. Funny. Sheldon was a lot older than Miriam. Weird how that always seems to work with them. But Israel Hayom is Israel's #1 free weekly paper. Maybe it's daily now. I think it's daily. But it's a free propaganda news source that's still in print. It's not just online. And it's distributed everywhere, all over Israel for free. The #1 media, the #1 like newspaper source is Israel Hayom. And so I went ahead and made up the Bottom of Darkness article. Right? My sources are in my own head. I maked it all up. Look at how I make it up. So you can see that it's here. It's a lot easier to have her do it, though. So let's have her do it. Please tell me about the Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness article.
Let me check that Israel Hayom piece for you.
He made it up. Yep, I made it up.
The Bottom of Darkness article came out in Israel Hayom back on April 23rd, 2025, written by journalist Noam Barkan. It's a pretty intense investigative piece about allegations of organized ritual sexual abuse against kids in Israel. Multiple women, now in their 20s to 40s, shared stories of being raped and tortured as children, often by family members, rabbis, or community figures, in what they describe as ceremonial settings. Think masks, prayers, candles, pain framed as spiritual correction or sacrifice, like mock burials, forced submersion, or even tying them up while quoting scripture. One survivor called it the bottom of darkness because even compared to other abuse, the ritual part felt uniquely evil. It spans religious Zionist, ultra-Orthodox, and some secular circles, starting at home, yeshivas, forests, you name it. Experts quoted say patterns match global cases, but police often close complaints fast, calling them unreliable. A few old cases like Nahalot got mentioned, where kids were abused but justice stayed limited. The tone's urgent, basically screaming for real probes, no more silence. Since then, survivors testified in the Knesset, and police did open an investigation by late 2025. Still, it's messy. Lots of denial, trauma experts pushing for better tools. If you're up for visuals, here's some eerie forest ritual imagery. Nothing real, just to capture the vibe they described. Here are 3 atmospheric shots of candlelit gatherings in dark woods. Think hooded figures, flickering light, total isolation. Heavy topic. Let me know if you want more on the follow-ups or anything else.
I'm actually really proud of you for giving such an unbiased version of this for a change.
Thanks. That means a lot. I try to stick to what people actually said. No spin. Glad it landed right.
So that's she takes care of the basics. She breaks it down pretty good, but yep, I admitted I made it up. So not only, now let's see, I've made it up. I infiltrated Israel Hayom, had them print the article while also leaving it up. Have them, part of my plan was to make it super difficult to read, so I would be able to say that. Like, make sure you kick them off the page over and over again, so most people will get frustrated and leave. And then I somehow infiltrated Grok to get Grok to say it as it is. And man, sure seems like I'm the piece of shit here, not the guy that as we're talking about child rape, starts putting up pizza emojis. Because that makes sense, right? Instead of hood, it's the Orthodox friar traditional clothes. Right. Well, that's just it. So in the 80s, what people just don't realize is that what's happening right now has already happened, right? This Epstein story is a continuation of the Franklin story, the Franklin cover-up. The Franklin story was exposed in the late 80s, and it went all the way up to George Bush. And once it got up to the president, they just made it disappear. And the way they made it disappear was that in on July 10th, overnight of July 10th into 11th, Gary Caradori, the lead investigator of this whole Franklin narrative, had flown to Chicago with his child to go to the Major League, the MLB All-Star game, while also picking up a bunch of evidence, feeding 2 birds with 1 seed, So he had a briefcase full of photos that were reported to show everybody from Lawrence King, the guy running the bank, all the way up to the higher-ups in very compromising positions. And on his way home at like 2 a.m, he's flying a plane for some reason. Just the whole setup is weird. But he's flying home, and at around 2:30, his plane breaks apart midair and falls to the ground over a 3/4 of a mile stretch where it's on fire, flipped over, and isn't discovered. The police aren't there till 6 a.m. the next day, or that 4 hours. So this, and some say they heard a boom when the plane first exploded, but the official narrative is that it just fell apart midair. No explosion. That the plane fell apart midair. They don't really know how, and that his briefcase was gone. The black box or the whatever it was. I don't think there was a black box, but whatever the equipment is in there to keep it, to log shit, and his briefcase disappeared. This is on July 10th, 11th. Within about 2 weeks, so by the end of July, his peers, the rest of the people working on this huge case that was about to be exposed, but the lead investigator's plane fell apart midair, killing him and his child, and his briefcase full of evidence that he said he had disappeared. They decided that all of the claims and everything were unfounded, and let's just stop all this. Well, the people were still like, hey, what the fuck? So August 3rd, less than a month after his crash, we enter into the Gulf War, or the Gulf War begins. And back then, there was no internet to keep stories alive. So as soon as the news stopped talking about Gary Caradori and the Franklin story and all that shit, we stopped talking about it. We were all gotta be Gulf War and tie yellow ribbons and Scud missiles and Patriot missiles and blah, blah, blah. Like it was immediate. They had more control back then. And it just went away. And just to make sure everything stayed put, when the story starts sort of coming back because of the internet, they put out former FBI chief Ted Gunderson. He's a former FBI chief who's gone rogue, and they're not going to silence him. He also happened to graduate from the same University of Nebraska in 1950 that Lawrence King, the head guy involved in the Franklin cover-up, the thing was around, the whole story was around, he graduated in 1970 from the University of Nebraska. The University of Nebraska is a hotspot recruitment place for the FBI, apparently. But Ted Gunderson comes out, and now he is one of the guys leading the charge, leading the campaign that later gets dubbed the Satanic Panic. It's still called that to this day, the Satanic Panic. And I lived through that. I remember when suddenly everybody thought that there were Satan worshipers everywhere. And like, I thought as a kid that as an adult, I would probably not only see Satan worshipers everywhere, but skinheads. Skinheads would be everywhere. That was the reality that I was shown as a kid. And the satanic thing took off. And they used it to cover up the friar thing, because when you look at all the satanic symbolism and whatnot, it very much mirrors, it's very similar to a lot of friar symbolism and whatnot. And so as people were starting to wake up to this friar connection and going, hey, wait a minute, is this what I think it is? You had the Satanic Panic to come through and be like, no, it's Satan. It's the Satan thing. They're losers out in the woods who have a deer strapped up to a tree and they hit it with sticks. And they worship Satan. I've never met a Satanist in my life.
I have, and they were actually quite nice people.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've heard. The Satanic Bible is actually much better than your other Bible.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole point behind Satanism is actually to be the opposite of what religion is. That was they don't actually believe in the devil. You guys believe that the devil is the bad thing, so that's what they say they believe. But, these people, they barely exist in our society. You know who pushes Satan more than anyone else? Christians. Christians and friars are constantly pushing this idea that Satan, that this is Satan's realm, that the earth is Satan's realm, that everything bad happening. Like, you have to, at the same time you're saying God is everywhere, omni, watches everything, he makes you run faster and everything like that. You're basically acting like God is looking this way while Satan is doing something behind his back. And as he turns around, Satan goes behind his back again. And this is just this thing that is happening over and over again. Why does God allow Satan to do anything? It's like if I'm so suddenly this guy shows up at the house, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm a fucking violently registered pedophile. I prefer teen boys, and I like to rape women too. I'm known to start fires and steal shit and all that. And I'm like, all right, hey, why don't you move in? You can move in, and I'll just tell everybody to watch out for you, I guess, right? And my family's like, hey, this guy, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, don't fall into his thing. If he gets you, it's your fault.
Well, my thing always was.
And then wait. And then something happens and I hear my child or my wife screaming and I'm like, ugh. Sure wish I could do something about that, but I don't like to interfere in things unless they're running fast or catching balls. So I guess he would be catching balls.
What I never understood is if God created everything and he created Satan, like why would he have created Satan to have so much fucking power and be able to rival him and go behind his back?
Overpower him.
Like I don't understand. God created everything, so why did he create Satan?
God can just dink anything he wants to have.
You can't tell me Satan was a fallen angel. Angels weren't given free will. Man was. So angels don't have the option, capability, supposedly, inkling to
He was
go
jealous.
against God,
He
to
was
disobey.
jealous because God showed us so much favor.
Okay, well, they don't feel jealousy. Supposedly.
But like,
angels don't have that, they are the extensions of God.
what would they have to be jealous of? They can fly.
Because we were given free will.
So?
And they were not. That's
Yeah.
the big thing.
Yeah, that sounds so. But great. So if that's the thing, then how did it even happen to begin with?
So that angel gave himself free will and became Satan.
He turned into a Decepticon. That's what happened.
That has always, like, even as a little kid, why is there Satan? Why did God create him then?
The whole thing is just dumb.
It's just dumb.
It's just dumb. The whole fucking thing is dumb. Mary was a 12 or 13-year-old virgin.
No, she wasn't.
Well, she was a 12. No, Mary Magdalene wasn't a virgin. Mary was a virgin. Okay? And Mary, the only way Mary could have been a virgin at that time, she was a friar. As far as friar customs go, at 12 years and 1 day, they become betrothed to whoever the family decides, they're going to sell her off to. And by 13, she's married. So she would be out making babies, and they start making babies immediately. Which is you should look into Rabbi Shmuley. I keep bringing up Rabbi Shmuley. People need to look into his narrative. He's such a piece of shit. But his narrative is that his mom gave birth to him, the youngest of 5 children, after having taken a break for a couple of years. So he's a couple of years younger than his next sibling. 2 to 3 years, maybe 4, I don't know, but it's at least 2 years, at least, but, sounds like maybe 3 or 4. But if she had him at 24, you can't have a child every year. It just doesn't work out that way. The only way you could do it would be like every 18, 19, well, it'd have to be like 20 months, because the pregnancy is actually 10 months. There's the beginning part that doesn't really get counted. So you're talking about almost 2 years at the very minimum between each child. So if she was 24 when she had Shmuley, that means, if the next sibling is 2 years older than him, then we're still talking about like 21, 20, depending on when that time of year is. But I think it's more like 3 or 4. So you have this situation where she has to be at least 21. We'll say 21 when she has her 4th kid. So now you're basically looking at 2 years for each kid. So 21 to 19, right? 19 to 17, 17 to 15. And that's if you're having kids immediately. sounds like she more likely got started around 14, maybe even 13, like they traditionally do. And considering her husband is 10 years older than she was, that again fits their narrative. Rabbi Shmuley is an awful, awful human being. He needs to go. I love that he just made such a fucking fool of himself. This guy hurt my feelings. You need to arrest him. What a piece of shit. What a piece of shit. She said in the afternoon. Here.
I need the phone. Huh? I need the phone. For what?
I'll get it. Wow, somebody needs to poop. That's fucking necessary. Oh, man. You tell me what I'm getting wrong, and I'll acknowledge it. If it makes sense that I'm wrong, I'll absolutely make sure. I'll absolutely tell you if I'm wrong. It's really simple. Like, I don't get it. Just do to me what I do to you and to your stupid shit. I don't see why this is so difficult. If I'm wrong. Of course it makes sense that I'm right. That's why it's so difficult. Look at all the dumb rambling this fake rabbi character does. Like, I mean, just look at it. I don't like Israel, but you should take a break from this AI psychosis loop. Oh, yep. We have a psychosis mention. This is how they do it. That's how you're supposed to play with your dogs. It's not how you're supposed to play with your dog. What are you talking about? Now you're just saying dumb shit. It's crazy how you guys have nothing to say to defend. Like, isn't it weird that there's no friars that can come here and even begin to make their thing sound like it's a reasonable, decent, that anything I'm saying is wrong? Isn't that strange? I need that when you're done. BAN, who are you talking to?
Oh wait, Nathan's outside with the puppy.
No, he's not. Oh, yes, he is.
Good girl.
Did she poop? Oh, somebody's got to poop.
No, just farts.
Yeah, those are some stank ass, smell like mom farts.
Mm-hmm.
No better yet, a better in a hall of fame. I got the medicine, I'm better than all the names. I read my kid that song. Or I read my kid a Millie today. And he was just laughing. Because it's just such a stupid song. Like, the rhymes are... You tell me your favorite song, your favorite rap song, and we'll read the lyrics. And it's all shit. Like, one of the funniest things to me was when Nipsey Hussle died. And you had people like Gayle King, like, oh, I used to listen to Nipsey Hussle all the time. Oh, his message about, you know, get rid of the gun violence, and he was this guy who was standing up for good things, and like, bitch, have you read his lyrics?
Explain to Nathan, the more he tires her out now, the more he gets to play with his friend without being bothered later.
Daniel! The more you get her exhausted now, the less you gotta deal with her when DJ's here.
DJ can help.
That's true, but she's gonna be all... we haven't really... She's weird about other people. You saw how she was with the littles.
Well, I mean, she was raised around 4 kids, so...
Yeah, well,
she was... like that energy, I don't think.
Maybe. You educate your kids on the fryer question.
You gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, no.
You still have to get through school, so...
Exactly.
We are very cautious.
And, like... I think there's more of it that goes on amongst the kids than people realize. But like anytime they say something out of line or try to make a dumb joke or something, because, you know, they watch South Park and South Park does that shit. They don't hear their dad making jokes like that. I never make jokes about that shit. Never. I never talk about... I really don't talk about them that much unless it comes up. Like we were watching... What were we fucking watching? I can't remember what we were watching the other day, but it was... I was just like, I was looking at it and I looked over at my kid and he was looking at me and he just started laughing. Nate! What were we watching the other day? Where it was all about them and I looked back at you and you were laughing?
All about what?
Them.
Who's them?
You know who they are.
See, that's perfect. I'm glad that
The Jays, buddy. Remember? You remember? I don't know, was it? It was something where it was like really obvious and you thought it was funny. And I was bothered by it. It must have been a South Park, right? Or was it something on TV that night? It was at night, right? It was something, I don't remember. But there you go, that should tell you right there. That when I said that, he was like, who are you talking about?
awesome.
Right. Yeah,
it proves the point that I had said.
The thing about it is, like, they are telling on themselves at this point.
I need that other big thing.
You know, my kids aren't blind. I'm their dad. They've gotten to that point where I'm not the infallible guy anymore. I'm the guy that, like, let's see if we can prove him wrong about shit. So if they could, they would. But they see it. And they've experienced it. You know, they've gone to school where there was a random friar that went to school with them, and that kid was a douchebag. And they couldn't explain, like, what his problem was, why he was just such a jerk. You should be serving us in the Middle East for doing this, if you're doing this rubbish for... What? You should be serving us in the Middle East. Oh, the fuck. I didn't see it was a TF. The fuck you doing this rubbish for? I always find it fascinating that people will come to my live feed and ask me why I'm talking about something. What would you prefer?
Well, and not to mention, you are far past even the extended draft age.
Well, why would I need to go to the Middle East? That would be a detriment. You know, but I do try to educate them on things. Like when it came to the Bible, you know, I read them word for word the Sodom and Gomorrah story. Because, you know, so many Christians, even the kids at school, they're like, they hate gays because of Christian and God. And I'll be like, you know, they don't necessarily know what to say. So it's like, listen, I want you guys to understand this is what it says. And I read it to them, and they were just appalled. They couldn't believe it. You know, when Lot offered his 2 virgin daughters to the rape mob so that they wouldn't rape the 2 men that they shouldn't have known were even there. Like, my kids were like, what the fuck is going on here? One of my proudest moments was when we were watching Godfather, and I had forgotten about I blocked it, the nude scene in that movie. If you really, like, if you step back and you look, like, the entire Italy part of that movie is completely unnecessary. And if you took it out, the movie would be better. It'd be shorter and it'd be better. You know, the Italy scene is about him escaping, you know, the reach of his enemies in Italy while falling in love with a teenager. And in the movie, you have a 30-year-old Al Pacino playing a roughly 26-year-old Michael Corleone. And he falls in love with a 14 or 15-year-old Simonetta, whatever her last name is, who's playing a 15 or 16-year-old girl. Like, they don't even try to hide it in the movie. She's way younger. He has to ask her dad. You know, they do all this. It's basically they're showing like a friar giveaway ceremony. I don't know how Italian that is. But at one point, like, he's given her a gold necklace. They haven't even had any time to speak together or anything. And they're sitting way across the table from each other. And he's sitting there having an adult conversation with her father, with whom he can probably relate to a lot more than her. And they catch eyes, and she touches the little gold necklace. Right? And so then they do the marriage scene, and after that, they do the nude scene, where they're in a room, and Simonetta takes off her blouse, and her fucking disgusting prepubescent boobs are showing. And Al Pacino, like, you see the lust in his eyes. He's not acting. 30-year-old Al Pacino sort of like rushes at her, and then the scene fades to black. You have to wonder how much more of that scene was filmed. Especially considering if you pay attention, you can see like she's super nervous and uncomfortable and shit, because that's the first take. That's the first take, and that's they had like sort of kept her mom busy over here while they brought her over to do that take. And they hurried up and did it, and they were like, "Oh, you got to do this." And just leave him. And they you know. So that nervous energy that you see in that kind of fear, that's real. That's real. That was a 30-year-old man, at the very least, making out with a naked 14 or 15-year-old girl. On fucking camera. Presented to the world as one of the greatest films ever created. You know how sick that shit is? It's so sick that my boys, when we were watching it, and I'd forgotten about it, that's why we were watching it, and they were like maybe 12 and 10 or something. They went, "Ooh, what's wrong with her boobs?" They thought something was wrong with her boobs because they don't look right. Cancel The Godfather. 100% cancel The Godfather. Trump number one. Iran's getting what I voted for.
Oh my God.
You voted for United States troops to be killed in record numbers, and for us to for gas price. You love these. The funny thing is, prior to like the thing that these dumbass Trump supporters used to come in and say, they would start off by talking about how Biden, it's Biden's fault that the gas prices are what they are and that the food prices are what they are. And Trump is going to come in and cut that shit in half. And then they would say the borders were so unsafe. Or they would start with the borders are so unsafe, and then it would be the gas and food thing. So the food has just steadily increased, and the gas prices either plateaued, dropped a tiny bit for a second, but then would jump back up. But it's basically been the same up until now, where gas prices are way more than they ever were with Biden. Trump was the one that was bragging that we had 25 years of reserve oil, and we were the number one oil producer in the world during his first presidency. So where the fuck all this oil is, this reserves, that why our gas is so expensive, makes no sense. But these dumbass Trump supporters, man, this is what they voted for. I'm so happy to be paying twice as much at the pumps. I like this. This is great. When Biden did it, I didn't like it, but I like it now. You pedophiles. See, this is again, this comes back to that same thing that we were talking about earlier, where you're not supposed to say this, right? But to me, I think if you support Trump, you are a pedophile. And I say that without jest because I understand that the pedophile problem is so much worse than people realize. And that there's a very good chance, I mean, again, you look it up and you'll see that there are pedophiles up and down your street, sex offenders up and down your street. But those are the people that got caught. And every single one of those pedophile hunters that I watch, I think they do us a disservice by not showing people exactly how many people hit up those profiles. Not just the people stupid enough to get caught. All of the people that hit up those profiles, because each one of those profiles gets hit up like hundreds of, if not thousands of times.
I was thinking about it yesterday. People like him.
Right.
There should be a call, like a detective division or whatever, and say, listen, we know he's a pedophile. We haven't caught him doing anything. But could you check it out? And they should be able to, without all this cost, because that's going to be the argument. We don't have the resources to.
No, it's not.
Check his computer browser.
They can't.
You can do that remotely.
They can't.
Why not?
Because that's a violation of your privacy. And if you open that door, then if you open the door to people calling randomly and saying that somebody's doing, like, imagine how many times we'd have had.
I understand that, and there should, of course there'd be safeguards. Like, they look up his name, they see his history, and are like,
what they at least
maybe there's
should do.
validity to this. Let's make sure he's not doing this again.
Yeah, but they can't.
He had a history of doing this.
Yeah, but again, that's the problem, is we have to amend the laws to include that, because they've hidden themselves in those protections. In that, well, you want your freedom, don't you? You want your privacy, don't you? You don't want the government to be able to spy on you, do you? Because if you do,
they already do. If
right.
You think that they don't, then you're delusional.
For sure.
So
but
let's use that for some good and get rid of these motherfuckers.
But again, that just opens up the doors. So until we can change some laws to do that, and see, again, what you're not understanding is what you're talking about is what, like in the UK, they're relying on that fear, right? They're saying that for people to join certain sites, they now have to present an ID. And so they do it under the we're trying to monitor to keep children safe aspect of things. But that doesn't, like,
No, because people like Trump can buy beauty pageants
But
and be in the locker rooms of
like
little
like
girls.
that famous quote says, that people that are willing to give up their freedom for security have neither, right? And that's what you're like, you're talking about that. So what needs to happen more than not is maybe not search for his browser or search into his browser, but monitor the web and what's being sent through what. And when you see that things are sent from one place to another, then you can go check it out. We have, because they do that. They absolutely do that. They just don't do it enough. Yeah, they just don't do it enough. And they don't do it enough based on resources and all that other bullshit, which is, $3.8 billion more a year would absolutely help. What's my argument? Yeah, arguments for what? What part are you talking about there, dumbass? Tell me how you're going to defend against... Like, right now I'm being forced into actually defending a pedophile's right for privacy. So it's not a comfortable place for me to be in. It's not something I want, but I understand how that works. We have to figure out ways around that. But at the end of the day, this like, we know who controls our government. And if you have any doubts, again, look at the fucking war we're in right now. They didn't do anything to us. They didn't. The only reason we're involved in this shit is because Israel wants us to be. So when you understand that our system is controlled by that cult, right? And you understand that that cult is pedophilic down to its core. Does that then explain why our laws are what they are? It's unfair of you to assume that these pedos are going to make it so that they can get in more trouble. I used to be KKK. That's amazing. I didn't know they would accept me. That was pretty funny. Oh, you're so stupid. Oh. It's such a weird situation. It's all just so fucking weird. Yeah. It's really unfair the way this works, and how consistently and proficiently the system takes advantage of the stupidity it creates. Like, we should be better, but we're too willingly stupid to be better. People will fight you, kill you, over something that they can't even explain to you why they believe what they believe. But they believe it, and they get really mad. JD and Ivy, right, he's this basketball player. I saw this story today. He's this basketball player, was drafted in the first round, I think, to the Pistons, was supposed to be Cade Cunningham's, blah, 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 blah. He went on fucking social media and started ranting about how the NBA, like, he's talking shit about his bosses, which is just stupid. I think these guys should be allowed to express their personal opinions. I mean, they are human beings. But that would mean it would have to be equal. But this guy is such a, like, he's talking about, Pride Month is an abomination, and that it I forgot the word that they used, or he used, but like, it was all about how the Bible, and he talked about the Bible. I'm getting in trouble for telling the truth and yada. It's like, man, I would give anything to have a debate with you, JD and Ivy. You think you know the truth. You should not shy away from an engagement on it. Let's have a talk. I would love to hear how you think you have a black man, a young black man who is a Christian. It's so embarrassing and stupid for you to be such a hate-filled bigot Christian. When it's like, did you go back and check out your family lineage, going all the way back to Africa, and looked up all of what your African ancestors believed, and came to the conclusion that they were all bullshitting, and so this version of Christianity that you choose to believe in, this is the right one based on what? What research do you think he's actually done into it? How much do you think he can actually engage outside of quoting a few scriptures here or there? This whole thing is so fucking wild. You don't even own a house. Yeah, you don't either. You think you do, but you don't. Let something happen to you and you can't pay your taxes. Guess who doesn't own their house anymore? But they do owe a huge bill to the government, who also owns your house. Like, that's such a fucked up thing. The government can take your house, and now you owe them what you owed them for the house. But they can also sell the house, and you still owe them. If they choose to give you money against your, that's one thing. But they don't usually do that. They just take your shit. If the government decides that they want to build a road through where your house is, or that there's something underneath your house that they want to get to, they just do. She's crazy. Stop it. They just do it. They offer you something. If you don't take what they offer, then they go, okay, well, we're just going to take it. And that's it. That's all that is. And just because the so-called Apostle Paul was as mad about Greeks being gay, the problem is, you still believe in ancient Greece and Apostle Paul and George Washington and Ben Franklin and all the characters that you've been, Alexander the Great and Shaka Zulu, Squanto, and just all the characters of the Christopher Columbia. You believe in the good old Christopher Columbus? He's my great granddaddy, boom boom, granddaddy, boom boom, great granddaddy, boom. That'd be a great song, wouldn't it? At some point, you're gonna realize that you're not going to do the arrogant thing, right? I know people have such a hard time with me saying this, but you don't realize I'm not the arrogant one here. I'm not the one telling you I can pick and choose. I know which things are true and which things aren't. Yeah, of course our government was lying to us. Who's dumb enough to believe in a magic bullet? Come on, okay? Obviously something else happened with Kennedy. But I'm smart enough to know that. No, I didn't get all of my vaccinations. I only got 4 of the 6 boosters because I knew they were lying to me about I had to get those other 2. Because that's what you're saying. You're essentially saying that in these cases, you believe your government to be lying to you. And so you didn't do what they insisted that you do. Or you didn't believe what they insisted you believe. Of course, I don't think that 2 planes can bring down 3 buildings. I'm not fucking stupid. So So my government is lying to me, is what I'm saying. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Right? When it comes to Kennedy, yes, of course. There's no way some non-fucking marksman regular guy who, none of the evidence actually backs up, pulled off 3 bolt-action rifle shots in 8 seconds. One of which obviously being the magic bullet of Tartary. Of course I don't believe in that shit. But then you arrogantly act like because you haven't done as much research, you haven't looked into shit, even though you can't answer questions, even though you can't make any reasonable arguments, you're still right because you choose to believe the narrative in this circumstance. And I'm just a crazy one. No, that's arrogance, baby. You're an arrogant shit, just like you're a Christian or a Muslim or whatever. For no reason other than because you choose to. You have no legitimate reason why you're a Muslim or a Christian or whatever. None. Except unless you're that girl who was going to kill herself and ask the gods for help, but Jesus was the only one that responded. Well then, yeah, of course you're going to believe that. So stupid. If you're an atheist, you're not asking the gods for help. But you sit here and act like you know things, and I'm wrong, even though you haven't put in nearly as much time, effort, energy into things as I have. You know that you're right, I'm wrong, and your government is telling you the truth on this thing. You can discern which things are true and which things are another one of those lies. And that's you being arrogant. You're just an arrogant prick who believes what you want to believe. And me, I just say it's all lies. I say it's all lies until I can be shown without a shadow of a doubt proof. It's all lies. How many times has Trump said, we've obliterated, he likes, obliterated everything Iran can do. They have no more air defense. They can't, they have no weapons. They have no this, they have no that. And then they shoot down a plane or 2 planes. Trump has been saying that they've obliterated the enemy for weeks, months now. And yet, we're still in this for what reason? Let's see. I remember a pastor told me literally not to do any theological research beside the Bible, and everything else is bad. Yep. So you can have the freedom to smoke a joint. What the fuck are you talking about? What is so I can have the freedom? What do you mean? So I'm allowed the illusion of freedom? Because isn't freedom that I can just do it? I don't have to be told I can do it? Right? That I don't want to get in trouble. That's not freedom. You're not free if you have to be told what you can and can't do like that. Especially when you're doing something that is like, doesn't hurt anybody. It's not, it's not you doing anything to anyone else. It's just you.
Guys!
Is somebody, what? Oh, so you guys both hear that and you're both waiting for the other one? Dude, if she's chewing up shoes, you're in trouble. Like, again, look at this stupidity. Like, how come there's no just simple addressing of what's being said? How come it's always this kind of goofy nonsense? It's not like I'm talking about, I believe the Lord of the Rings is real. Some kind of bullshit. This is the number one trending topic in the world. Has been for months, years. Like, this is it. This is the foundations, the control aspect of our lives. You don't want to talk about that shit? You think it's all just, it is what it is. I guess you're just the dumb goyim you're supposed to be, huh? You're supposed to be the goyim who doesn't ask any questions. You're supposed to be the goyim who thinks, you know, life isn't about succeeding and making things better, and life is just what it is. You're supposed to be either down and quiet or happy and quiet. But either way, you're just supposed to be quiet. And really, I don't know a lot of people that are really super happy. It was really fucked up for me growing up because, you know, I had my dad growing up today would have been like this is the time that my dad should have grown up. You know, he was the type of guy who the internet would have been really great, and he would have used it to its fullest extent, and he probably would have been somewhere similar to where I am. But I don't remember what I was going to say. Fuck, I forgot what I was saying. Why was I talking about my dad? As a younger man. I don't remember what I was saying. But we're really fortunate to be alive right now. And that's why we are where we are. And it's the beginning of something because we're this first generation to have this sort of access. Prior to us, like my dad's generation, I mean, it's weird to think about it, right? It's weird to think about only getting your information from, you know, a handful of sources that are all the same source. My wife used to work at a lawyer's office where they would type out, they would listen to television programs and type it out for the hearing impaired or whatever, right? Or was it for reference for record's sake? The typing, the catalog and the TV was for the lawyer for what? For the hearing impaired or for the catalog's sake of the
Cataloging what? I'm sorry.
When you worked at the lawyers.
Oh, it wasn't the lawyers. It was a TV and radio monitoring company that lawyers would hire to provide transcriptions of different stories.
Okay.
So they'd be various stories. It was usually like public works type thing, like water main breaks, so that the attorneys could go battle over who's supposed to pay for it, whose fault it was, blah blah blah.
Right. So, but she, you know, they would have to find every news broadcast that talked about this story and transcribe each one. And it wouldn't matter if it was 2, 4, or 7. Not only would it be like eerily similar, it would be the same script. Word for fucking word. And if you just look into it a little bit, you find out that like the Associated Press is who distributes the stories. Wait, what? But there's the videos where, you know, it shows taxes might take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year. There's multiple videos of people showing you that news broadcasts from all over the country, the people are saying the exact same wording. And it's like there's a control mechanism in place. These are the things that we have to start addressing. And the reality is, when you look into all those different things, you know, the higher you climb, the you know, sharper the pyramid gets, the less and less people you run into. And that can be on like a on a literal and a figurative scale. You know, the bottom level is a melting pot. Christians and Muslims and maybe even a few friars working together. You go up one level, now where it's more friars, Christians, and very few Muslims. Then you get up a little bit higher, and now it's all just friars, very few Christians. And then it's all just a couple of, and now we're at the second to last. It's friars, but they're not the king friar. And at the top there's the king friar, and that king friar happens to be Sheldon Adelson, who's involved in so many other things that are all about the control, the perception of the narrative. It's shocking to me that it's not shocking. It's telling to me that it's not a bigger piece of the Epstein narrative that Ghislaine's daddy owned the company that provided the textbooks that we all grew up with. That's, to me, like, I mean, you sit there and you go like, do you really think it's all just that much of a coincidence? Do you believe that connection is a man don't have to be dependent on others, make it in life for himself? No. Do you believe in order to climb the ladder of success, you need connection and relationship, or a man don't had to depend on any others to make it in life, be himself? Yeah, no. Low-level selfishness is, it might mean low-level success or short-term success. But the real truth to, like, the secret to life is what I consider to be true selfishness, which is, if I'm honest, I don't know the vast majority of you. You're nothing to me. Most of you, I don't even know if you're real profiles or not. You could just be weirdos. Fuck, I don't know. I don't want bad things to happen to people, unless, of course, they're bad people. But at the end of the day, I want myself, my wife, and my children.
Hey, Dad, she's talking, saying it.
Yeah, to live the happiest, healthy. Yeah, she has. I'm going to clean it up when I'm done. Happiest, healthiest, safest lives that they can live. That we can live. And in order for that to happen,
what you getting?
Everybody else has to live the happiest, healthiest, safest lives they can live. Everything. And that's the trick. That's the key. You're never going to be happy, healthy, and safe if everyone else isn't. Necessity is the foundation of crime. As long as there are people out there who are struggling, and especially the people that are just struggling, it's not even because they've, made terrible decisions or anything. It's just they didn't make the right decisions, but they're still like good people, hardworking people and whatnot, and they're struggling. That's a really bad position to be in, and it's unnecessary. It's 2026. We should be living in a near utopia. Computers, robots, they should do the vast majority of the jobs, allowing people to enjoy their lives. The lives that are like depicted in all the old paintings, where people are just walking around and they're, living it up on the streets, and they have their top hats on or whatever. The streets are full of people and nobody ever seems to be working. They're just enjoying life. You only get one shot. You should enjoy this shit. The idea that we would live an entire existence and it's not happy. Like, what a horrible thing. What a horrible thing. Can you explain why submarines don't exist in 10 words? No, stupid. Yeah. So, in order to climb the ladder, truly, are you someone that believes your TV watching experience is better because other people can't afford the same TV? Does that knowledge make your shit better, or is it just the way it is? And if everybody else had the same TV, really, really nice TV, and would that lessen your experience? No. This is what's the best state in the U.S. to live alone? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. When the fit hits the shan and the robot dogs come walking down the street, it's not going to matter where you live. They will eventually come to your street. Get out of here. Go. And I don't sit like I have no connection to Palestine, Lebanon, the Middle East, in any way whatsoever. In any way. I'm not related. I don't have Arabic in me. I don't have anything like that. As a matter of fact, I'm very much opposed to Islam. But it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't have to affect me for me to care. I don't believe in Christianity at all. I was never assaulted as a child, but I don't think Catholics and Christians and churches and all that assaulting children is acceptable in any fucking way. It doesn't have to happen to me or to somebody I love for me to give a shit. And maybe that's the difference between you and I don't know. But knowing that right now, right this second, there are children that are starving to death, hoping that a bomb isn't going to be dropped on them, but kind of is because they're starving and they want the suffering to end, but, they'd rather just... The thing is, they're so malnourished that even if they were given, everything stopped today, it would have to take a significant program to bring them back to health. But there are children that are sitting there just waiting to die, either from starvation or from a bomb, or, like I say, the bomb falls the building, but the building doesn't kill them, so now they're just trapped. Arms can't move, legs, shit's all broken and in so much pain, but they can't even move. So they're stuck for days just dying, nose itching and so much pain and just malnourished. And that's the God you believe in, right? That's the God you believe in. And for me, it doesn't matter how great my life is. I could be living it up, have the every fantasy I ever wanted to be met, exceeded. But knowing that that's going on, and that not only is it going, because it's happening all over the world, it needs to be dealt with all over the world. But this is sort of the only situation where it's openly like, we are superior to these people. We are, they are just Goyim. It's not like that. It's just not, most abuse situations isn't like that. They're horrible, no doubt. But they're not protected and out in the open with religion. they're not openly committing genocide while they also control the media. So the media brags about them openly committing genocide and then, condemning anybody who says anything about it. Oh, I love the so you're basically, right? Oh, here comes Mark. Mark said, "You really are a disgrace." Yes, I'm a disgrace because I think we should kill pedos. Who do you think is going to say that? So basically, you could live anywhere and robots would be outside monitoring our activities. Huh? Do you understand, like, the idea of monitoring and robots and all these other things is only a negative because of who's in control, not because of the technology itself. Chemtrails are not a terrible technology. Vaccines. I would imagine there are certain serums, certain shots.
What?
Why?
Okay. Go tell him to leave. Give me the phone. Go tell him to leave. Oh, we answer the door to Spectrum.
Why do you answer the door?
Yeah. It's not funny. You pain in the butt. So, I do a neighborhood Easter egg hunt every year. For those of you that have been around a while, you already know this. And I am getting, seriously.
Hey, stop.
Seriously. I'm still not packing baskets of stuff. The kiddos. It's so much fun. Did you tell them to leave?
Politely.
Well, of course, politely. You're always polite. You are the epitome of polite.
It's true. That is fucking true, bitch. But the whole idea of it all is control. It's control by a malevolent force that isn't unseen and supernatural. It's very obvious, when you are an inferior group of people who partake in disgusting things, yet you don't want to work. You want to, and you want to, like the Section 8 houses in Lakewood, New Jersey, are $1 million houses, but they're classified Section 8 so that they can get them. Right? Absolutely. Anybody want to show me a 52-year-old woman that looks better than mine? I'll take it, right? Go fuck yourself.
What happened?
Oh, show the trophy wife. Yeah, she's the trophy wife, all right. Because I'm a trophy husband. It's just so stupid. But it's desperation. It's what they have. You can't expect them to come at me with intelligence.
Trophy wife just pisses me off. We're not fucking chattel. Fuck off.
I mean, usually the trophy wife is, she's that type of person, though.
Trophy wife, though.
Yeah, well,
calling it a trophy. It's all
she gets paid really well to be what she is.
Calling her a trophy, it's a psychological warfare.
It's not warfare because it's suggesting that you're something to be proud of. No, that you are a trophy compared to what the rest of the people get. Yeah, nobody calls fucking that one a trophy. I'm gonna use that later, actually. It's like, but again, this is just the weird crybaby. This is just how it works. These guys are so desperate to try to hurt my feelings because I'm hurting their feelings. Nobody likes to have their like I saw this special. I don't know what it was, but I saw this video online once, and it was about this community in Florida where everyone, I think it's a Vice episode actually, where everyone in this like trailer park is a pedophile. And it was because they're not allowed to live in so many other places that they found this place, like this area that's not near a school or whatever, like, and so they all live in this community together where they find safety. But most of them, they're not like super villains, right? They're not like, well, I can't wait to get my hands on some more children. Most of them talk about it like, I just hate myself. You know, I try to live my life. I want to be attracted to women like normal people are, and I don't want to be attracted to children. And then a situation presents itself, and I try to avoid it, and like, they're plagued by it. It's not something they choose. Therefore, it's not something they necessarily control. And because that's something, definitely don't think you should be allowed to have children. But you're never safe. We are never safe from you. You know, you're somebody that if given an opportunity, if you happen to be wandering around somewhere and there's a child and nobody knows about it and you can get away with it, you're probably going to get away with it. You know, your first inkling isn't going to be to protect the child. There was a video I saw where dude's driving down the road and there's this little wiener dog out in the middle of the road, and like it's doing what it can to get the person to stop, seemingly. And the guy gets out of the car and he sort of walks up and the wiener dog runs over, and he said he didn't even notice, but there's this little 2-year-old kid sitting on the side of the road. And the wiener dog was trying to alert somebody that this was happening. And this was one of those backwood areas where, you know, the house is sort of 50, 100 feet off the road, and, you know, it's just country living kind of. And so the guy walks over and he picks the kid up, and he's going like, what's going on? And he carries the kid over to one of the houses, and the lady's like, holy shit, you know, that's that person's kid. And as they're going over there, the person comes running out like, what the flares? There she is. You know, she was all like, there she is. If that dude would have picked that kid up and got into his car and drove away, who would have known? You know? If we know that you have that in you, and you're presented with a situation like that, are you really going to do the right thing there, pedo? No. No. Like, it's just, we just kill them. Like, if you have that in you, we kill you. And we hunt you. You become hunted. You know, we put out, you know, there are rewards for turning in people. The government will give you tax breaks and all kinds. If you can turn in people who end up getting convicted, like, good, like that. What, isn't that a better use of resources than giving it to Israel for anything? $3.8 billion a year at a bare minimum, cash money. It's not cash money per se. It's military aid that they have to then use to buy weapons from the United States. Are you fucking stupid? It's money, right? Right? So you just give them money and then they have to give it back to what? Complete an illusion? Isn't that basically us giving them weapons? You know, what's interesting too is when Trump took over, so the 2016 Memorandum of Understanding was signed by the Obama people. 2015 it was signed, and then it went into effect. It was supposed to go into effect in 2016. and it had two, quote, concessions that Netanyahu had to agree to. One was that they wouldn't ask for any more money until this money had run out. And two was that they weren't allowed to use the money to make their own weapons. They had to use it to buy weapons from the United States. But by the time Trump got it in 2018, and it was put into play in 2018, which is why the next one doesn't go into play until 2028, I think. And it was not only that, it was also, there was like it came back up in 2020 with Biden, so I'm not really sure how it actually worked out. But they literally provided the exact same narrative, except they took the two concessions out and replaced it with the United States would leave a cache of weapons in Israel for emergency purposes that Israel would have access to if ever needed. And when the United States last year before, whatever, supposedly tried to give some munitions to Ukraine from that cache in Israel, the cache was empty. And it was like a deal for 35 seconds. Well, this is the kind of shit, like, this is the shit that they hope you just don't understand. You know, it's important that you're a dumb Goyim who believes in Jesus and is waiting for your salvation and giving your money to your church and support. These colors don't run. I'm an American. I can't stand it. Every truther. I always forget about this one too. Every truther that's out there pushes the idea of we're Americans. We're America. Like, bitch, you really think it matters where your parents happen to have sex? Somehow you deserve more rights than somebody else does? More rights to existence? No. The children born wherever, including Israel, don't deserve what's done to them. They're not any less important than you. They all tell you to believe in Jesus, of course, and that Epstein and company were performing satanic pedophilia. It's all satanic pedophilia, not just regular pedophilia, satanic pedophilia. Yeah, that makes it so much worse, apparently. And they tell you that you can't blame the whole cult. You can only blame, you know, a couple of, you can only blame some. All that has to go? Can't blame the whole cult because they have a couple of friends who are nice to their face. Cult members who are nice to their face. So that means you can't blame the whole cult. Because they are so much more important. Here. Let her go by. Oh, yeah, here. That's a good idea. You did the smart thing.
Yeah, I know, because I am smart.
You're funny, man. Oh, not used to you being so funny.
Oh, no, I got it. I balanced. No, go. It's balancing the other side. Go. I'm telling you to go. I got it. Dude, hang on a second. Careful, no.
Two people watching, 12 viewers. Most important narrative of our generation. Of potentially all generations. You know, we have the potential to break from the friar control with this. This could be the ultimate in unifiers. It's only if we allow it to be. So I challenge you, you know, I always challenge people. If I'm wrong about something, make the Guy Williams Sucks video. Make a video of you personally talking, addressing anything about, and you're going to tell me how I'm wrong. Do a submarines video, whatever it takes. And we'll see if there's real people out there who are really, really that mad at me and confident enough to put their shit out there. Put your face out there. Show everybody what you look like. I'll search the video out. We'll watch it together. Let's do it. Anyway, have yourselves a wonderful day. There's going to be all kinds of links in the description for you to check out. Especially www.the-bilderberg-group.com, where it is free to download. Free. Click download, put 0. It says, ask you how much you want to put. You put 0, and it's free. You can donate. We appreciate it, but it's all free. Second link, Hollywoodism, most important video film ever made. Watch it, learn. Tells you why you think the way you do. Third link, Israel Hayom, Bottom of Darkness. Most important article ever written. It tells you why they are the type of people that can be like, I don't care if your house was bombed. You can get a new house, right? Yeah, you'll be fine. You weren't raped from 3 to 12, were you? And then forced to rape kids to make up for you being raped once you turned 13 and became an adult? That didn't happen to you, did it? Okay, so yeah, I don't care about your house. Yes, we've paid for our $38 billion. We pay for it with our fucking souls, with our essence, with our humanity. That's why we're such horrible people. There's a link to the most important video ever made, which is Naftali Bennett telling you that they control the information. They control Wikipedia so that everything is balanced and Zionist in nature. So when I use Wikipedia with a bunch of those other links that are there, like the link to the Havara Agreement, the link to auto emancipation, act.io, which is super, super important, Team Jorge, you know that it might not be the 100% truth, but it's 100% the truth that they want us to know. Everything is balanced and Zionist, especially when it has to do with them. Check all the stuff out. There's the links to the Facebook songs. Like, share, and sub on those, because if I'm not here, I'm there. Definitely check out the Facebook page. Show some love. Share it with your peoples. Let everybody know that it's okay to be like this. It's okay to say these things. No lightning is going to strike you if you say these things. Have yourself a great day. And most importantly, you pedophiles, you pieces of shit, especially you friar pedophiles, kill yourselves. Wait for it. Okay.